All right, let's dive into one of the most complex and honestly one of the most hope-filled books of prophecy in the entire Bible. We're talking about Zechariah. It's a message that starts in the literal rubble of a failed project and ends with this incredible vision for a world made completely new.
So, picture this. Your big comeback, the moment you've been working towards, just fizzles out. It fails. Now what? Well, this was the exact question facing the Jewish people way back in 520 BC, and the answer they got would, believe me, echo for millennia.
To really get the power of Zechariah's message, we first have to understand the deep, deep despair they were feeling. You have to feel the ruin to appreciate the hope.
Okay, this timeline really tells the story of their disappointment. So after decades in exile, the Persian king, Cyrus, he gives them the green light. You can go home. Can you just imagine the excitement? 50,000 people journey back to Jerusalem with these huge hopes. They start rebuilding the temple, the heart of their nation. But then, almost immediately, everything just stops. The project stalls. And for 16 long years, nothing. That initial optimism, it just completely vanished.
And this is the key thing we have to grasp. The dream of a rebuilt nation was crumbling. And it wasn't just because of foreign pressure, but also, and let's be honest here, their own apathy. They felt like their big fresh start was a total and complete failure.
So right into this toxic atmosphere of failure, God sends a messenger. And this messenger has a powerful name and an even more powerful message. Let's see how this starts to build a real foundation for hope.
Get this, the prophet's name, Zechariah, literally means Yahweh remembers. I mean, come on, this wasn't just a name, it was the entire message in 2 words. God had not forgotten his people. He had not forgotten his promises, even when they felt totally and utterly abandoned.
This was his opening line, his first sermon, and it wasn't just a pep talk to get them back to work on the temple. It was a call to rebuild a relationship. The message was crystal clear. The first step to rebuilding the physical temple was turning back to God.
So, to jolt the people out of this deep despair and give them a real reason to hope, Zechariah gets this series of stunning symbolic visions, and they all happen in a single night.
That's right, 8. 8 different, pretty wild apocalyptic visions. We're talking bizarre, powerful stuff like a flying scroll carrying a curse or a woman who represents wickedness being sealed in a basket and just flown away. It's this incredible whirlwind of divine revelation, and it was all designed to completely reframe how they saw their situation.
You can almost think of it like a divine movie trailer for God's cosmic plan, you know? It was meant to lift their eyes up from the rubble right there at their feet and get them to see the incredible future God was actually working on.
And this one vision just perfectly illustrates the pattern for the whole night. First, Zechariah sees 4 horns. These symbolize the powerful, oppressive empires that had scattered Israel. But right after that, what does he see? 4 blacksmiths. These divine forces sent to absolutely shatter those very horns. The message is so clear and powerful. For every instrument of oppression you see, God is an instrument of justice ready to go.
And here's the bottom line. The crucial point of all these visions is captured right here in this one verse. Their success, their entire future, it wasn't going to come from their own efforts or political games or military might. Nope. It was going to come directly from God's supernatural power.
So then, the visions and the prophecies start to zoom in. They begin to focus on the centerpiece of all this future hope, a really unique and, frankly, a totally unexpected kind of king.
Now you have to understand, this image would have been a total shocker. They were expecting a conquering warlord on a war horse, right? Instead, Zechariah describes a king of peace, riding a humble donkey. He's coming to completely redefine what power and kingship even mean.
But then the story takes this sharp, tragic turn. The prophecy foretells that the people would not honor this shepherd king. It's a key pivot in the whole narrative.
So, in this symbolic act within the prophecy, Zechariah, who's playing the role of this good shepherd, he asks for his wages. And what do they pay him? 30 pieces of silver.
You can just hear the sarcasm dripping from this verse. 30 pieces of silver wasn't a fair wage, it was a deep, profound insult. In the law, that was the legal value you paid for a gored slave. And that specific price, the value of a dead slave, well, that would echo centuries later in another story of betrayal. They valued their shepherd king at the lowest possible price.
But believe it or not, even that stunning rejection is not the end of the story. Not even close. Despite it all, Zechariah's prophecy climaxes in this breathtaking vision of total restoration and ultimate victory.
The book describes a future day when all the nations of the earth gather together for one final climactic attack on the city of Jerusalem. The imagery here is just so powerful. The city becomes like this immovable, impossibly heavy stone, and all who try to lift it will be seriously injured. It's a picture of a city on the absolute brink of doom, facing this impossible threat. And here it is, the final dramatic reversal. Just when all hope seems lost, when the city is surrounded, God Himself intervenes directly. And in that moment of victory, the people will look on the one they had pierced, and the spirit of grace and mourning will pour out, leading to their ultimate cleansing.
And the result of all this? A world completely transformed. The Lord reigns as king over everything. The city becomes a source of life and is permanently safe. I mean, even the most common, everyday objects, like the bells on horses, will be marked holy to the Lord.
And that really leaves us with this final thought. Zechariah's message to a bunch of discouraged people was that a clear, God-given vision of the future provides the strength and the motivation to not just get by, but to actually rebuild in the present. It shows us that no matter how bleak things might look, Yahweh remembers.